Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's class. Sorry, we have to have today's class virtually. We understand that a lot of people were expecting the physical class as we also. So we really apologize for that. But so just this week is just the classes for this week that will be virtual. Physical classes will resume next week as we have them scheduled. Okay, so we can sign in the attendance. We can begin to sign in the attendance now. Get your attendance signed in. Yeah, good morning, Richard. Good morning, Lee. So please sign the attendance. All right, so we'll just have that up for next 5 minutes. And then we have an exercise from last class that we're supposed to do today before we start. So the next from 10:05 to about 10:15, we'll be doing that exercise. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so yeah, so let's begin to sign in. We'll have about 5 minutes to do that. I'll just leave this up for the next 5 minutes, and then we'll move to the assessment or classwork, really. Let's drop that message on the chat. All right. All right. So welcome back, everyone. Welcome to today's class again. Glad to see a good number of people have joined us again. Right. So here's our assessment question. Okay. So let's attempt this. This is from the last class. Make this a text. Okay. Okay, so this is it. So we have the next 10 minutes to do this. I think let me put some instruction there for people that might join later. Okay, that should do. All right. Okay, so we have this assessment till 10:15. So it's just from what we did in the last class using the array and writing a function. So we're writing a function that we can array list. Okay. So I'm sure we can all do this. Right. If you have any questions, so by 10:15, we are going to review this together. Good day, everyone. Thanks for joining. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. My name is Leke. Hope you can see me. If you can, please just indicate. If you can see and hear me, please just indicate in the chat so I know you guys are with me. Okay. Thank you, Sunday. Thank you, everyone. So during the last class, okay, let's just solve this exercise together and then we'll do a basic revision of, and then we can do a basic revision of what we did in the last class and then move over to this new class. So, okay, is that okay by everyone? Okay, so this exercise, okay, so before we start, how many of you got it? Can you just indicate in the chat if you did? You're able to solve this exercise? Okay. These are nobody attempted to solve it. Okay, someone was saying he missed the last class. Actually, this doesn't have anything to do with the last class. Okay, someone is saying I didn't get it. Okay, did anybody got it? You have close like 52 attendance. Okay. Okay, at least based on the, okay, people are saying error, but they have closed, error, but they have closed. I didn't get it. Okay. Okay, so I think we can just solve it here and then we can move on. So let me read the question. It says write the function name reshaped. So number one, the name of our function would be reshaped. That takes in a word, a array, which is a list, the number of rows, which is an integer, and the number of columns, which is also an integer, and convert it into a matrix. Okay, so you'll be converting into a matrix of this. So for example, for this one, we have a shape. It gives it, we give the function a list, which is our array, 2, 4, 5, 6. So this is a list of length 4, and then we are meant to convert it to a 2 by 2 array. So which means 2 rows and then 2 columns also. So this is row 1, row 2, and these are the 2 columns 1, 2. And this one also, we are given a list of length 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we are asked to provide into 2 rows, 3 columns. So this is row 1, row 2, and then column 1, column 2, column 3. So that's a 2 by 3 matrix in a sense. So, and for those of you that are not familiar with what matrix are, their way of representing information using using arrays or arranging them in a particular set of orders. At least that's the most easiest way I can explain it. So let's just try solving this. So write a function called the shape. So takes in an array, also taking number of rows, number of columns. So at least I'm sure everybody should be able to do this. Should be able to do this first one. I mean, it's write a function that or the shape that takes in array, number of rows, and number of columns. Okay, so when you're saying the character is too tiny, let me try zoom in. Is it better now? Can you confirm is it better now? Okay, okay, okay. So that's that. So what we can do is simple. To do this is quite simple. We can create a variable called I call it matrix. Matrix, and then it can be an empty list. Okay, and you can say for I in range what? Number of rows. Do that. And then once you've done that, all what is just left for us is just to be appending the list. So we can say start plus 0 and 0 also. Let's start from there. So I'll keep explaining. So what I'm trying to do, let me create. What I'm trying to do is, if we are given a list, let's say we have a list 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we want to split it into a two 2 by 3 matrix. That's 2 rows, 3 columns. So what we can just do, and so before you even code this, just look at how you can solve it. First, solve it manually on your system. That's how, I mean, on your paper, sorry. And that's how you know whether you can code it and what are the strategies you can use. So if you have a matrix like this, a list like this, and you want to convert into a 2 by 3 matrix, all what you can just do is you can do this and just say, okay, so I'll count the first 3 letters, 1, 2, 3, put them inside my first row, that's 3, 4, 5, and then count the the uh the 3 last elements and put them in my second row. So that would be 6, 7, 7, 8. So from here you can see that we've divided into it 2 by 3. That's 2 rows, 3 column, 2 rows, 3 column. And see, you can see that we divided that effectively. So from here you can see that, okay, all what I just have to do is create a for loop based on the size of my role, and then just be splitting the arrays into 3 chunks. Do you understand? So create a for loop that will loop only this will be 2 times 1, 2. So a for loop that will loop 2 times, and that twice will create my what's it called? Create my rows, and then split every element in the list into chunks of 3 based on my column. So that's what I want to do here. So I'm creating a for loop based on the number of rows, and then I will split the array into a chunks of 3. So I can just say row equals what? matrix, sorry, array, and then I'm sure they will have taught you list splitting, how to split list. So I'll use my start and my end. So my end, instead of 0, I can say number of columns. And then number of columns. So that's what I can do. So this will split it with for my start is 0. So it will start from there to split it. And then my end is 3 using this one. So this will be 0, 1, 2, 3. But it won't pick this 6. It will stop here. So it will be 3. It will pick 3, 4, and 5. That's what it will pick into the rows. And then, so I have to update my stats. So my stats now will now equals my end, and my end now I'll now do plus equals to what? Plus equals to number of columns. Then lastly, I'll do matrix dot append my row. So with this, I should be able to solve it. And then let me print my, what's it called? I can return. I can return my matrix. I can return my matrix. So let's run this and see what we get. So let's say reshape. Shape, and then we say array. Okay, so let's just copy this and try using this one. Let's look at my 3 a bit. Let's run this. Oh, sorry. It's asking me to sign in. So let me just copy this and yeah, let's try using this one instead. Hope you can still see my screen. I'm now in Jupyter Notebook, and can you all see my Jupyter Notebook? Okay, yeah, thank you. Thanks. Okay, so for me, I can see that the first element was appended, but the second one was not. So I want to know why that was the case. Why is that the case? So right now, okay. So let's just debug it together and see what was the issue. So for I engage number of rows, so that would be 0 and 1. So the first row starts and then split it, then append to matrix. Then append. Why didn't it append? So let's just do printing to see what the issue was. Let's print rows and see where the issue is and try to solve it. Okay, so it's showing an empty. Let me print start and end. Was happening there. 0336. Wait. So trying to debug this and let's see something I'm doing very well. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so you guys can see the mistake I made, right? Instead of putting end there, I want to count number of columns. So I'm sure then it should work now. You can see, so we've splitted our list into this. So we can try with uh let's try with something else. Let's let's create that. So let's build a 2 by 2 matrix now. So let's say 4, 4, and then 5, 6. Then we'll build a 2 by 2. So you can see now that you have split it into 2 by 2. So that's how to solve that. Hope you guys got it. So for the next one, I want you guys to go and do it at home. So for this bonus question, so if the array is not enough, if you can't split it now I'm saying you should split into 2 by 2, but I'm giving it only 3 values here. Then you should print can't convert the array. So you guys can solve that also. Just try again and see how you can solve that based on what I've shown you here. So do anybody has any question concerning this one before we move forward? Okay, I'm checking the chat. See that nobody is saying anything. Okay, someone is asking me to throw more light. Okay, so I'm displaying the solution screen. So I'll just walk through the solution again. So given a list, all we just want to do is just convert it to a matrix. Someone is saying it's kind of tricky. Yeah, don't worry, just copy it and you understand. Given a list, we just want to convert it to a matrix. And all what you just have to do is a list. You just have to break them into chunks and try to solve it. Like I said, given this one now, I'm going to convert it to 2 by 2. So 2 rows, 2 columns. So for our first row, we'll take the first 2 elements of the list, put inside one bracket. For our second row, we take the other last 2 elements, put inside another square bracket, and then that's how to do that. And that's what this chunk of code is trying to do. And that's what this chunk of code is trying to do. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of people are saying they don't understand. But don't worry, just keep developing yourself. This is meant to be an exercise that would stress, that would in a sense increase your capacity in that sense. That will stress you and see how well you understand some basic concept of Python. And that's what this exercise is meant to do. And so once you get them, just keep
So once you get home, just keep thinking about it and trying to see areas you can improve. That's what this assignment is trying to do. Okay, number one, you have to list stats here as a variable. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so last week we were able to do it like a basic. Last week we were able to do like a basic introduction of what machine learning is. We talked about the different types of machine learning or the different types of learning. We talked about supervised, semi-supervised, and unsupervised. We also mentioned something about reinforcement learning. Okay, yeah. And then we talked about the difference between supervised and semi-supervised and unsupervised in a sense. Okay, so now we'll be moving into unit 2, and then in unit 2 we'll be talking about Numpy and Pandas. So we've done this evaluation in last class, so I won't repeat this again. So Numpy and Pandas. So Numpy and Pandas are the different kinds of libraries we use in Python to do machine learning. There are different kind of libraries we use in Python to do machine learning. And these libraries are very, very important. They are one of the key fundamental tools you have to know how to use if you want to effectively improve your machine learning skills and Python skills also. And one very important thing is that NumPy, in a sense, is very good for is a scientific is very good for scientific computation and manipulation of multi-dimensional arrays and matrices. So it's very good for multi-dimensional arrays and matrices. So from what I talked about in the quiz or in the assessment we did before we started the class, you could see that we are trying to convert array list to matrix, coding it by ourselves and doing it by ourselves. But NumPy does all those tricks for us. It's a very simple to use library, and then it can convert a list to a matrix easily and in a way that is efficient both for your computational resources and also readable for humans also. So that's what NumPy is, a very powerful package, and does a lot of tricks when it comes to scientific computation for manipulating of multi-dimensional arrays and matrices. So matrices are what? Rectangular arrays of number, symbols and expressions arranged in rows and columns. So matrices are arranged in what they call rows and columns. So it is very important to understand what matrix is and how matrix. So yeah, here's an example of a matrix. So the first bracket here is telling us that it is, but this is the first row, this is the second column, and from here you can see that is what it's 2 by 3 matrix. A 2 by 3 matrix. So a 2 by 3 matrix. So you can see that the rows contain 3 numbers. So those are our columns. So we have our first column, which is 1 and 3, our second column, 2 and 4, our third column, 3 and 3. So to notate or to write down a matrix, you must write down the row first, then followed by the column. So from there you can see that it's a 2 by 3 matrix. So this one also is a what? 3 by 3 matrix. 3 by 3 matrix. So you can see that this is our first row. All these ones are our first row. All these ones are our second row, and this is our third row. And you can see that 147 is our first column, 258 is our second column, 369 is our what? Third column, and they were what? In a shape of 3 by 3 matrix. So there are different. So we talked about the size of the matrix now. So now we are talking about dimensions. There are different kinds of dimensions of an array. We have the one-dimensional array. One-dimensional array, we have a shape of only one element. So it will be either row of columns. So like now, so mostly our list is a one-dimensional array. As it is an example of a one-dimensional array. I'm sure you people are familiar with list and how it looks like. And so this is a five by nothing, just 5. And so one dimension. Two-dimensional arrays are the ones I'm trying to introduce you to, and some of us call them matrix. So you can see there, two-dimensional, 2 rows, 3 columns. This is a two-dimensional array. And then we have multi-dimensional arrays. We have 3-dimensional arrays, we have 4-dimensional arrays, and the rest like that. So those multi-dimensional arrays, some of them are used to represent images, some of them are used to represent different kind of data sets in a sense. But what we'll be dealing with mostly in this course or in this class is either one-dimensional array or two-dimensional arrays. Things like that. So I want you guys to go on and import Numpy. So import Numpy. So that's that. I can type it for you again. Just import Numpy. And that should be good to go. And then run it. So in the last class, I told you guys to try and run it on your Jupyter notebook to make sure that you have NumPy installed. But if you don't have NumPy installed, then you have to install NumPy by going to your command prompt and doing pip install. So you do pip install NumPy in your command prompt. For those of you who don't know what command prompt is all those weird looking frames that will pop up. So you can just go to your search on your Windows and then just type command prompt or just CMD. You see command prompt and then you type in whatever you want to type, or just go online and search how to install NumPy. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of resources there that can guide you on. So almost everybody use import NumPy as NP. That's what they do. So as to make it so instead of writing NumPy every time you want to work with NumPy, you can just write NP, and Python will automatically know that you are talking about NumPy. And also you can give it whatever name you want. You can give it import NumPy as N, import it as K. It doesn't matter. Python automatically knows that wherever I see K, it means NumPy. But conventionally, what almost everybody uses is called import NumPy as NP. So here is an example of how NumPy can be used. So you can say X, you can say, so to convert a list to a NumPy, you can say my list was 2, 5, 6, 7. This is a list. Is what it is a list. If I check the type and say type my list, you can see that it's telling you that this is of a type list, and and uh, and from at least from your previous understanding of how Python works, list is a type of data structure in Python, but list is not an effective kind of data structure for scientific computation, or for if you want to do machine learning or any task that is computationally expensive in a sense. List is not a good data structure for that. Number one, it's too bulky. Number two, to get any element on the list is too difficult in a sense. And if you want to split a list into two-dimensional arrays, you have to do a nested list, which is also a bad thing, because to get element out of a nested list is in a sense difficult in a sense. But then that's when NumPy comes in. So you say, I call it my NumPy, and then you convert a list to NumPy, say np dot array, and then you call my list inside it. And so if we check the type of NumPy, my NumPy, and then you can see that it's now in the form of np.nd array. So it is now a one-dimensional array that we can work with and use to do computationally expensive tasks. Okay, so this is how we create a list. I mean NumPy array, and then we can. So to create a two-dimensional array, also you can do this, create the nested part, and then put them into an array, then it converts to a two-dimensional array for you. And this is for a three-dimensional array. You don't have to bother yourself about this. It's outside the scope of what we are trying to do. But if you want to go into field of deep learning, computer vision, and the rest like that, then we have to understand what multi-dimensional arrays are all about. And also there are some aspects of machine learning too that deals with multi-dimensional arrays. But for this course, we're only focusing on one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays. Okay, so there are a lot of functions in NumPy. We have, I'm sure the one that would speak out to you, especially for those people that did the assessment that we did this morning. This reshape, and this reshape can do what our function was trying to do. It can do that. It can reshape an array into different size. If you want to reshape into a 2 by 3 dimensional arrays, you do that. You want to reshape it into a 4 by 2, do that. And zeros will create an array of zeros and the rest like that. So we are starting with a range. A range is used to create an array with values in a specific range. So if I want to create an NumPy array from 0 to 10, let me point all this. So you can see what it did here. So it created an array starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6. So you can hear me interchanging between arrays and matrix. So whenever, if any NumPy array is a one-dimension, I call it array. If it's two-dimension, you can see that I may call it matrix. Make sense? And then that's that. So you can change this 10 to 100 and see. Let's see what it does. So you can see that it creates just one dimensional array, starting from 1 to 100. You can change it to 20, and things like that. So the reshape, what the reshape does is to break down the shape based on what you want. So yeah, I am saying okay, let's say for example, you have, let me change this one to 10. And then you want to make this a 5 by 2 array. That means 5 rows, 2 column, 5 rows, 2 column. You can do that. So you can see that initially our aim was an array from 0, a one-dimensional array 0 to 9. Now we're broken it to what? A 5 row, 2 columns. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, and then what? 5. There's a 5 row, 2 columns. So we call it 5 by 2 matrix. So 5 row, 2 columns array. Okay, so you can see that this shape in NumPy does that. So if you have a question, what you can do is just type it in the chat. I'm looking at the chat now. Just type it in the chat. There's no need for you to raise up your hands because I don't think I will be able to give you access to speak. Just type it in the chat and then I can attend to that. Okay, so before we move forward, so is there any question? So I'm checking. So we don't have any question. So if there's any question, you can just type in the chat and then I will attend to that. So you can see that you can also change it to a 2 row 5 column array. 2 row 5 column. So you can see that it's different from this 5 row 2 columns. So you can see that we have 1, 2. So those are 2 rows, and then our columns, if we can't see, they are up to 5. So the zeros, mp.0 creates a matrix or an array based on the shape you give it, but everything will be filled with 0. You don't fill it with any particular number. So if I want a 10 row, 2 column, so do that for me, but everything will be filled with 0. If I want 5 by 5, that's 5 rows, 5 column. So mp.1 also does what mp.0 does, but everything in our matrix are filled. Everything in our matrix are filled with ones instead of zeros. So it does that. So why mp.full? It does what mp.zeros on mp.11, but you are the one that will specify the value you want it to fill it with. So it's filling it with 4. If I change this value to 9, it will fill it with 9. If I change this value to 5, it will fill it to 5. That's that. And then for those people that are mathematically inclined, you would understand that there is something we call diagonal matrix. You can Google search it to see how it works. And then we can create a diagonal matrix. But most diagonal matrices are what they call squared matrix. So if I'm saying squared matrix means it has the same rows and the same column. And so you just put 1 here and the rest will be 0. But I mean, there may not be need for you to bother with this now, but just know that there's a function like that that does that. Okay, so those are the different kind of functions we have in NumPy. So there are a lot of other functions that you can go on and play with. Okay, someone said I'm super fast. Okay, let me just slow down a bit then. Let me slow down a bit then. So there are a lot of other functions in NumPy that you can go on and play with. But just know that NumPy for scientific computation. And whenever you want to do anything in Python, okay, I mean, people are going to I'm super, super fast. Okay, so, but whenever I want to do anything in Python that that can be or that will be computationally expensive or that has to do with a lot of mathematics formulas and the rest like that, you use NumPy. For us, we'll be using NumPy for our machine learning tasks. So you have to be, in a sense, familiar with it. Familiar with it. And also know that this recording, this video is being recorded on YouTube. So after the class, you can go back and look through them in case you don't understand anything. But also you can go online and search NumPy. There are a lot of resources on NumPy. A lot of people have done wonderful tutorials about them and how to use them. And that will guide you and help you on knowing what to do and how to go about it. But just follow me for now. Just know that NumPy is, in a sense, a better form of data structure when it comes to organizing your arrays in dimensions, whether one dimensions or two dimensions. And when you want to use them in, when you want to do any mathematical computation or things like that, use NumPy. It's better and faster than list. And we talked about we have one-dimensional arrays and two-dimensional arrays. I will told you that two-dimensional arrays have rows and columns, and then the shape of that array determines from the shape you can get the size of the rows and the size of the column also. And I've also told you that just seeing the array printed out from there, you can be able to see that okay, this is our row and this is our column. So horizontally, that's our row. Vertically, that's our column. Just know that horizontal row, vertical column. So the row is 2, 1, and 2. The columns are 3, 1, 2. That's how they count them, 1, 2, 3. Just like that. And then we mentioned some functions in NumPy. There are a lot more than this, but these are some of the ones you have and that you can play with. Just type them in your Jupyter notebook and see how it works. Reshape, zeros, ones, full, inline space, random, and things like that. So, and I've shown you how to use some of them. So there are a lot of other better, cooler functions of NumPy that you can go on to check and look through. And then np.zeros, you just give it the shapes. So that's np.1 does that for you. That's for you. Okay, so let's move on to how to access elements in the NumPy array. How do you access an element in a NumPy array? So I'll just give you guys some insights to catch up and also check the chat to see if there's any question. Just give me a moment, please. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. Hope you can see me. Okay, so now to access elements the NumPy, there are different ways of doing that, just like a list also. Okay, let's see. So let's print out Z so we know what's inside Z. Uh, okay, so Z is can someone tell me the shape of Z? Is it a 2 by 2? Is it a 3 by 3? Is it a 4 by 4? Can someone tell me in the comment section? Okay, okay. Thank you. So it's a 2 by 3. Yeah, 2 by 3. So now if you want to access the second row, first column, we'll do 1 comma 0. So that will give us 3. So just like a list, the indentation of what's it called? In the indentation of NumPy starts from 0. So if I want to access the first row, first column, which is 1, then I'll write 0 comma 0. Or if I want to access the first, if I want to access the second row and second column, so second row, second column, which is 4, and second column, which is 4, then I'll do this. So that's that. And you can also use this way also. So instead of putting it 1 comma 1, you can use 1 and then put 0 like that. So this will give me access to the first row, first column, and then if I want to see, okay, first row, and then the last column, which is 2, so you get 3. Okay. So you guys can play around this, create your arrays and try to see if you can pick a particular element out of the array. So we've talked about shapes of an array. So to pick the shape of an array is then the types we check some of the types, the integers types and the rest. And then the shape, those are the sizes of the array, whether 2 by 3 and the rest like that. And then the size also, the size will count every element in the array for us. So a 2 by 3 matrix, you have a size of, that will be 2 times 3, that should be 6, and the rest like that. So Z is a 2 by 3, so yeah, that will be 6. And then there are some mathematical operations that you can perform in Numpy. So you guys just hold on with me. I'm sure some of you will be trying to say, okay, when do we get to the machine learning part? When do we start training data set and the rest like that? But if you understand how Numpy works and the rest like that, you'll be able to follow along with me and see that. And then we have something that I call transpose. So text. So number one, you can say that our X is a 2 by 3, 2 rows, 3 columns. So if you want to transpose it, you can go online and see how to transpose a matrix and see what I mean by transpose. So it's just converting all the rows to a column and all the column to a row. So that's what transpose is. So 1 and 4 become, they're a column, then they'll become a row. 2, 5, which is also a column, become a row. And they have some of their usefulness in matrix operations and the rest like that. And if you want to invert an image and the rest like that, but just know that they are useful. And also we can add elements together too in a matrix by just adding them like this. So normally in a list, you can't do this. You can't add elements together in a list. But in a matrix, you can do that. So, for example, what I'm trying to say is that in a list, if you have list and then say my list 1, then we put 2, 4, 6, and then you have another one, my list 2, and then you put 10, 20, 30. And then if you want to add it together, my list 1 plus my list 2. So can someone tell me if this will work or not? And if it will work, what will be the output? In the comment section, will this work? Normally, what I'm expected to get, I should get 12, yeah, and I should get 24, yeah, I should get 36. So will it work? I'm waiting for you guys on the chat. Okay, no, so you say no. Okay, so let's try it. So it actually did. And what it did was not what we were expecting. So my list, instead of adding it together, I just append it to the back, and that's not what we want. So a matrix, but with matrix, you can do that. And then to add it together for you. Like that. So you can also subtract matrix, you can do multiplications, you can do clock element-wise division and the rest. the rest like that. So matrix, just know that matrix is a very powerful tool. And then we are just able to scrape the surface of it. So if you want an in-depth understanding of how it works and how it does some of its functions, you have to in a sense go on YouTube, get materials and see how it works. So most machine learning libraries that we have nowadays, they are built on NumPy. Some of them have an element of NumPy in them. Not all, but some of them has, and everything like that. So TensorFlow, sklearn, and all those big names here, they do most of their computation using NumPy arrays in a sense, and because it's more easier than using any other form of data structures for scientific computation. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to pandas. So once we are done with pandas, and then during the next class, we start building machine learning models, supervised, unsupervised, and you guys can see how they work and how useful it can be. And you will see some of these tools in place, especially pandas and NumPy, and how those tools can help us structure our data set in a form that is accessible and useful for the machine learning model we are trying to build. So do you have any question? Okay. In the chat. I can't see any question. Okay, so let's move forward. Python pandas. So Panda also is a tool that helps us in structuring our data set in a sense, in a way that is meaningful to the human understanding. So when you get your data set and you want to see what's going on within it, you want to structure, arrange, and perform some computational tools or analysis on your data set, especially when it comes to two-dimensional kind of data sets. Panda is your friend. Two-dimensional kind of data sets, Panda is your friend. And when I'm talking about two-dimensional, I'm talking about the kind of data set that has both rows and columns. Panda is your friend. It has a lot of usefulness and it cannot be overemphasized. And also, there's a form of NumPy in pandas. So you can see some of the usefulness of NumPy. So we import pandas as PD, just like the same way we import NumPy as MP. On this, it stores our panda. And also, you can see how we can convert a list. This is what they call a list of lists or a nested list, in a sense, into a data frame, which is pandas, and you can display it. And yeah, it looks, from now, you can see that it looks more meaningful to the human eyes. You can see that name as your imam, chooks, you can see the age, the corresponding age, and you can also see the serial number, or yeah, 1012 and things like that. So instead of it being in this form, things can get easily confusing, and any single mistake with the bracket can create a form of error. The square bracket can create a form of error, but yeah, you can do that. So to create a data frame, which is what we are seeing here, you say pandas dot data frame and open the bracket, input whatever data we want to convert, and then yeah, columns. These are the headings. We have name, age, and things like that. Okay, so let's say we want to create another one that has sex, male. This one is female.
And this one is also female. Then you can come here, sex. So you can see that. You can see now, like, makes sense. It looks appealing. Okay, so can someone say, can we apply pandas to dictionary as well? Yes, yes, you can apply. You can apply pandas to dictionary. Okay, someone is saying number is not clear to him or her. So just go online. YouTube tutorials will help. I'm sure in your chat they give you links of a lot of YouTube tutorials on NumPy. It will help also. Pandas so called moved away from NumPy in a sense. We are not pandas. But if you don't understand anything, just go back, just keep learning. Some of the things uh, I will say here, I will not go in depth because you have a lot of stuff to cover. And just brush over them. You are the one that have to jot down and then go on to search and search over them. Okay, so for your daily, that was asking if you can apply pandas to dictionary. So yeah, so this is an example of that. So this is an example of that. So if you want to create sex like we did for the other one, just create a key called sex, and then give it real, weird, you also male. Then when we run it, you can see that we now have this particular. Okay, so someone is asking if I want to use a data set and it's on Microsoft Word, how do I read it with pandas on Jupyter Notebook? Okay, so number one, you have to ask. So is in so pandas reads Word document also, but if we read them as strings, they won't be in tabular form. Or if you want to make them to be in tabular form, your data set should be in something maybe in .csv, or Word document saves files as .docs. Or if you want it to be in tabular form, .csv be better, or .xls. I think Excel save it something like Excel something. Yeah, that will be in tabular form. This docs will be mostly in strings, and everything. Except if you can find a way to convert your document to comma separated values in a sense. But pandas has a lot of capacity to read different kind of data, no matter the format it was saved in, docs, CSV, Excel, and the rest like that. A lot. So here also writing a dictionary to a data frame. You can see it here. Just that. And if you type df dot types, that's this, you see all our headings, and you see what kind of value we saved under each. So for here we have object. Object mostly signify either strings. That means the value under state are mostly strings. So you can see appear and yes like that. Capital are also strings. But area is telling us that it's integers. Population also is telling us that it's mostly integers and things like that. So these are different ways. So let me go to, if you have a document
and you want to load into pandas, because that's what some of you are asking. So if you have a document and you want to load into pandas, this is how you call it. So we have panda.read CSV. We also have panda.read XL. That's for the Excel extension. We have that one. I'm sure there will be also be panda.read document, Word document, and the rest like that. So go online, search, you see. So for CSV, we just do the, and then you give it the path of the file. The path of the file means where that file is saved on your local computer. And if it's not, okay, let's just focus on local computer. Just where the path is being saved on your local computer. And also, pandas can read from a URL. Also, there's dot read URL. So if you have a URL file, that means a file that is online, you can put the URL and then to read it, to download it and put it on your personal system. So that's that also. But we are starting with CSV. So let's start small and then move from there. Okay, someone is asking if the material will be shared after the class. The video will be available for the material, I'm sure. The people in charge of your channel will reach out to you and tell you how to get access to them. So we give you the part, which will be in the strings, and then we say panda.read CSV, and then that is that. And then it reads everything for us. Side is CSV. And then if I say pandas.edge, edge gives me the first 5 elements on this data set. If I don't want to load everything, I just want the first 5. Then I can specify maybe on the first 10, first 4, and then you have tail 2 or tail. So that will start from the bottom. This will give me the last 4, last 8. If I don't specify anything, to give me the last 5. So that's that. So this is for the Excel. Pandas.use the Excel. And see the extension and the rest like that. So for now, we are dealing mostly with structured tabular kind of data sets. For the other kind of data set, we have strings, we have images, and the rest like that. Pandas can also work for them, but I don't think actually that pandas was designed efficiently for them. In the sense, if you want to read an image or you want to read the document or something, or a string data set, something that is mostly strings, and you want to do natural processing and the rest like that, or language segmentation, blah, 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 like that. And then you may also go for some tools that are, in a sense, well built for those kind of particular tasks. But when it comes to tabular kind of data sets, and that are mostly in 2 dimensionals, I'm sure Panda is your friend. Can do almost whatever you require of it. Okay. So to get only the population data here, you type in population. Have your CSV. So most of the time, as I'm saying these things, you can, if you are with your system, just keep practicing them also. Don't say when I get to, when I'm a bit less busy, then I'll do them. No, just keep practicing them so as to make sure that you're getting them. Well, practice and practice makes perfect. So, and in case I'm saying something that is a bit difficult, write it down, jot it down, and then know that you have to do a bit more study on them But just start with the basic now. Don't try to jump before you can walk. So you want to get the population, you can say, and once you saved it here, we call pandas.read, save inside CSV dot CSV underscore DF, that's data frame, and then we can call it and just say population. Our heading is what population, so population. Yeah, so it will give me all the populations. So if I want to work with the population, I can get it like this. If I want to work with states, so I can see all my states here. Things like that. I hope this data, I hope you guys have access to this data set. Please check your chat. I'm sure they'll have sent this data set to you guys. So you guys can also practice along as I'm doing them. You have your states, if you want. So whatever, once you just have the heading, just type in the heading here. Your area. Okay, okay. So you can see that I didn't get that area. So area, kilometer 2. In the space, yeah. Let's try and see how we can get those copies. Why is it playing of an error? Saying think here, but then it can't find it. Let me just, how is it being represented? Like I said, because that's so. The middle areas when issue. Well, well, should work. So okay, so I don't know the reason why this is not working. Maybe from that, maybe I can check down later. Okay, so we have our population here, we have tails. Yeah. And then one other thing that is very important for you to note is the CSV.describe. Describe gives you a form of describe gives you a form of basic understanding of all what is happening in your data set for the numerical values. So the numerical values are the values that have the type integers or float. So it gives you the count. Count is how many of them, gives you the mean value, the standard deviation, the minimum value that is present in that area, the 25 percentile, 50 percentile, 75 percentile, and the maximum. All these ones are they are mostly, in a sense, mathematical notations, but they are useful. But because you guys are starting and you don't want to bore you with that, but it's important you know the difference between your mean and what your standard deviation stands for, and your minimum and things like that. Okay, but if you do include all, and to add both your non-numerical data, like your state, you know that our state is non-numerical, is a string. So you add that, but with that one, you can't get mean and standard deviation because they are mostly numerically calculated in a sense. But you can see the count and then the top and see how many unique values you have. So uh if you have one state occurring twice, you'll be able to see it from here. If your unique value is not equal to your count. Like that. And then I can get the mean of my population times on average. What is the population of any state in Nigeria on average? So this is at least 3,700,000 and things like that. So to get my columns, this will give me all my columns. Oh, now I know why I was getting key error at that place. There was space at the back of. So you can see you have to be careful with this thing. So if you are giving your columns names, if you put space, it will take note of that space. And if you don't put that space in when you are specifying your columns, there will be a problem. So if I say df.column, it will list out all my columns for me, just like the same way we have for dictionaries. If you do your dictionary.keys, give out all your keys. This one, columns also will list out all your columns. And then info, give you some more information. To tell you whether they are empty values. Because in a real world, most of your data sets, some will be empty. Just like imagine in a local government where a person has been given a job to get the number of people living in each houses in that particular local government. And then each of those agents goes out, or the local government agent goes out to get the population. There's a high probability that someone may get to your house and the door may be locked. The person may say, okay, I can't get the number of people living in this area. So the person may just leave it empty or leave it blank and things like that. And the person may forget to fill it in. So your data set will always be dirty. You have to clean it. You have to do what we call pre-processing on those your data set to get so as to be able to so as you can use them in a sense. But for this course, most of the data set will be given you will be generally cleaned because you guys are still starting. You have to learn how to work before you can jump or fly. So that would be the case. So talked about how to get and then you point out your state and the rest like that. Then you want to get both state and population together in order to put them inside the same square bracket. And this is slicing. You want to do slicing in what's it called in pandas, just like the same way. So it's important that you understand some of these concepts that we've talked about in list, in integers, in strings and the rest before. So as when we come to pandas, you don't get confused. So slicing the same way, do it in list. That's the same way it works in pandas also. Slicing and the rest like that. So I locate is if you want to get uh your role, if you want to get the third element, this one is getting the second yeah. Okay, this is for getting the third element in your row, and this is for slicing also. Same thing. So one last thing. Okay. So we are almost done. So there is job. Shares with your job. Okay, so the data set I'm shared. So please take note for those of you that needs it, that should be able to practice. So if you want to do sales with those job, you can. So sales with the job is if you want to remove a column or a role, be a column. We call them features also. So you want to remove a features, you can do that. You can job. So you can see from here that we dropped our population column. So you can see that population is no longer here. We remove that column, that feature particular. Um, so that is that for today. That is that for today. So I'm showing you here, so you can just go on to watch and practice more. So this requires a lot of practice, requires a lot of dedication, requires a lot of practice, requires a lot of dedication, requires a lot of intention in a sense. So that's that. And don't worry, just keep practicing, watch the video again, and then download pandas, download numpy based on the data set we're giving you, work with them and try as much as well to see how you can integrate this particular stuff into all the concept we thought about into them, and watch the video. Whatever you don't understand, reach out in the chat. We have people there ready, 100% available to answer or almost all your question, and teammates also, your colleagues, if you know you have a solution to a particular problem, try and solve that. And also, you guys can try and see ways you can solve this particular task. Like I gave you guys this morning together. This one I've solved for you, but try and see if you can solve the bonus side and the sense. But don't use NumPy. Oh. Now that I've taught you NumPy, don't use NumPy for it. Just try and see if you can program it by yourself and program them by yourself. So do you have any question? Okay, so if someone say if you want to change the orientation, okay, 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 I'm trying to understand. So maybe what the person is trying to say is if, for example, after they perform another sensor, they found out that the population of Oyo have increased. So how do we go about it? So all you can just do is you can just change it just the same way you do it for list. Once you integrate for me, once you get to Oyo, just specify that I mean can once you can let me just code it for you. So once you can specify the state, so you say state, I'm trying to get the heading, so just state, then you can just save state, you can look for Oyo, and then from there you can change the area or the population based on what you want. So it's just the same way. But you can research that and play with that and see how you can adjust that from your end. We'll go into that now. And so yeah, so there are a lot of methods here in Numpy that you can go through and see how you can play with them in a sense. So just go through them. They are quite important. This get dummy is very important. This count also is very important. And just once you have your data set, try and do all this and see the outcome. You will have a lot of errors and it takes some time to get used to, but don't worry. It will all work out wonderfully well. So if there are no more questions, you can call it a day here and then we'll see again next week. Okay. So I don't know if then I'll call my colleagues from Funminiyi to give pass some valuable information and then from there we can call it a day. So have a wonderful day.
Okay, everyone. So thank you so much for joining today's class. So we'll continue next class. That's on Thursday. Classes continue as virtual. So the class is still going to be virtual up until Thursday. And from next week as well, we'll continue our physical classes. So please go ahead and share on social media how your learning has been. Tag us. The hashtag for this program is on the info pack. It's hashtag AI everyday. So let's hear from you. Let's see how you are doing, and we'll catch up in the next class. So next class is virtual, and the recording for this session and the data set used as well for this class, that's the 2006. I'm just find where you imported it here so that we can all see. Yeah, this data set is already on the info pack. So you can find it on the info pack as well as the video and the quiz for this session after this. So stop class here for today and we'll catch up on Thursday. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining today's session.